Thank you. Good morning, Senators, your staff, and fellow Roundtable participants. My name is Tony Owens, and I've traveled from Maine to speak with you today. But before I give you my remarks, I want to invite Dave to come to Maine and fish for brook trout. I've been to Montana. It's a wonderful place, but I still hold Maine brook trout very dear. It's also an iconic species. But I practice emergency medicine at Maine Medical Center, the region's largest referral and teaching hospital. Every morning, the sun strikes the United States first in Maine, bringing its warmth and energy to our shores and forests. As much as we cherish that warmth in the depths of winter, heat trapped by increasing greenhouse gases has given us a string of record hot years, 14 of the last 15, with a seemingly endless trend of ever warmer seasons. As a physician with 4 decades of experience, I'm seeing shifts in diseases directly attributable to these changes. I screen patients on a daily basis for tick-borne illnesses that I had never heard of when my practice began. Ehrlichiosis, anaplasmosis, babiosis, and of course Lyme disease are all transmitted by an ever-expanding population of ticks, present in southern Maine now almost year-round. We often joke that the black flies are a state bird, and its insect cousin, the mosquito, doesn't take kindly to that, playing second fiddle. Mosquito-borne illnesses are also on the rise as well, spreading a new wave of deadly viruses such as Eastern equine encephalitis and West Nile virus that have reached as far as our mid-coast. The seasons in Maine have been the subject of many jokes, and Senator King, you may want to put this in your repertoire, that Maine is said to have 11 months of winter and 1 month of damn poor sledding. The arrival of spring with its attendant blossoming flowers provides a longer and more intense release of pollen, exacerbating the suffering of asthmatics and adding another challenge in Maine what we call mud season. Lest I forget, Maine has the largest population of moose south of Alaska, and this robust herd is shrinking, decimated every winter by ticks. They don't so much transmit disease, but plague the moose in such overwhelming numbers as to cause anemia and reduce winter survival, especially among calves. Warmer winters have expanded the tick population at the expense of this icon of the North Maine woods. And this is not without economic consequences in vacation land, as our license plates proclaim. Tourists come to Maine to do 2 things, eat lobster and see moose. As the Earth spins clockwise on its axis, Maine greets the sunrise, but this movement also creates prevailing westerly winds which sweep through our country's atmosphere, bringing millions of tons of carbon into Maine that originated elsewhere. I cringe every time Maine is called the tailpipe of America, but it's true. This toxic brew affords Maine the distinction of having one of the highest rates of pediatric asthma in our country. On so-called bad air days, doctors' office visits spike, and the sickest of those patients, adults and children, arrive in my emergency department. The cost to treat and hospitalize those patients is both huge and avoidable. The emotional cost of looking into those sad, scared eyes of both patients and parents also takes its toll. We must and can do better. Some would argue that on the back of that carbon coming into our state comes the electricity that makes our economy tick. Not true. Maine is already a net exporter of electricity, with the majority coming from renewable sources: hydro, biomass, wind, and solar. Finally, Senators, let me conclude with a medical metaphor. Our patient's climate is currently on life support. Climate change isn't coming soon, it's here now, and I've given you real and current examples of its impact. You are the elected stewards of this patient, our planet, doctors, if you will. A prescription to help your patient has been written, the Clean Power Plan. I want to know, we want to know, our children and your children want to know, my grandchildren and your grandchildren will want to know. Did you fill that prescription for your patient, or did you turn your back, hang your head, and walk away? Thank you very much.